Welcome, everyone. Whether you just discovered fielding or if you've been considering an educational journey with us, we're delighted to have you here today for our Beyond Your Degree open house event. We're excited to share insights into the unique experiences and opportunities available to you as students beyond the academic curriculum. We'll begin by sharing a little bit about Fielding's history. We'll then ask you to participate in a quick community building exercise. You'll hear from university leadership, including our provost, Dr. Wendy Williams, who will talk about graduate education and the sense of community at Fielding. Following Dr. Williams, Associate Provost of Student Life and Thriving, Dr. Sherjanae Lindsay will provide insight into her role and how it directly benefits you as a student. Director of Alumni Relations, Hillary Lynn, is also here to tell us about Alumni Association, which welcomes students into our community of scholars from day one. We look forward to answering questions as well, so please be sure to type them in the chat as we move through the presentation so you don't forget them. And we'll offer different opportunities throughout the presentation to ask questions as well. For those who might just be learning about fielding, I'd like to provide some context about how our university began. This year, we are proudly celebrating our 50th anniversary. Fielding's journey started in Santa Barbara, California, where our administrative offices stand to this day. At that time, our founders saw a growing demand for advanced education among mid-career adults. Recognizing that traditional walls could not contain learning, our founders pioneered a distributed model for adults that were unable to uproot their lives for education. And since 1974, Fielding has embraced a student-centered philosophy. Unlike the stage model, our faculty see themselves as guides, valuing the unique experiences and wisdom that adult learners bring to the classroom. So over the last 50 years, as the internet revolutionized education, Fielding has expanded its reach. Today, our commitment to accessible education encompasses specialized programs in psychology and leadership studies delivered through distributed or fully online formats. Our journey continues with a commitment to empowering individuals through education. Fielding looks to the future with excitement, building upon a rich history to shape the next chapter in the lifelong learning journey of our diverse community. Today, we remain regionally accredited, a nonprofit leader in graduate education, with a vision of educating leaders, scholars, and practitioners for a more just and sustainable world, with values centered in academic excellence, community, diversity, learner-centered education, social justice, and transformational learning. Now that you have some context about how Fielding began, let's dive into a quick community building exercise. My name is Caroline Wedderburn. I'm Fielding's admissions engagement specialist. I've had the pleasure of working closely with prospective students like yourselves for years, and I'm grateful to be here with you today. While you might be thinking that community building only begins after you've applied and been accepted, by attending events like this, you've actually already started. Throughout my time at Fielding, I've seen genuine connections started through Zoom chats, at program information sessions, and open house events like this one today. Your future classmates may very well be here with you today in this virtual setting. With that in mind, I encourage all of you to take just a moment, share in the chat where you're located, which Fielding program that you're interested in, and what excites you most about graduate school. I'll just give you a few moments to do that in the chat. And I welcome my colleagues as well to join in and just share your name, anything that you're excited about today. So while you're typing, responses to those questions, I'll share that I'm located in Lompoc, California. It's about an hour north of Santa Barbara. As I mentioned, our community is widely distributed with faculty, staff, and students all around the globe. So I'm excited to see where you're all calling in from. Let's see. We have Oakland, California. Dr. Williams, great to have you here. Santa Barbara, beautiful. Alberta, Canada, it's fantastic. Santa Clarita, California. India, all around the globe. It's so wonderful to have you all here at different hours of the day. New York, oh my gosh. Okay, now we are spanning the globe, the whole country, the globe. This is beautiful. North Carolina, and all different programs are represented. I'm glad to see your interest indicated there. Our psychology program, infant early childhood development, human development, New Jersey, beautiful. I appreciate your participation as well at this hour of the day. I know sometimes it can be a little tired after work, so it's great to see you all joining in. Now, as you continue typing in the chat, please don't stop there. Continue on if you haven't. I'm going to share what other incoming students have told us that they were excited about before applying. One thing that many of them said they were excited about was becoming part of a global community, just like we're here today. I love it. So they were excited about discovering a lifelong learning community, connecting with faculty, fellow students, and alumni from around the world, learning from a diverse network of scholar practitioners, and participating in virtual and in-person leadership sessions. During our Alumni in Action open house last week, one of our alum, Trevor Baber, was actually telling us about the lifelong connections he made with a group of students when he first started the PhD in organizational development and change. He was telling us that although they were different ages, they had different occupations, different backgrounds, different research interests, this group of students all felt a connection during their new student orientation, and they decided to hold each other accountable throughout the whole program. They've all since graduated, but they still stay in touch with each other to this day. Now, if you missed that Alumni in Action open house event, my colleague Brian's going to be putting a link to the recording in the chat. Incoming students have also shared that they were looking forward to transformational experiences. As I mentioned previously, fielding is student-centered, and you truly have the opportunity to explore what matters most to you. Our faculty understand that you're bringing a wealth of experience academically and professionally, and they respect you as adult learners. In collaboration with a faculty mentor, you'll develop a customized learning plan based on your own interests. Faculty and fellow students are also there to help you explore new ideas and theories to be able to implement the changes you want to make in your organizations, your schools, or communities. An alumni from our EDD and Leadership for Change, he told me that he had been admitted to a few schools, and he could have gone with one that was in Los Angeles where he lived, but that would mean he would only have been surrounded by educators in that area. Instead, he chose Fielding because he knew he would be surrounded by students from around the globe, giving him the opportunity to explore new ideas from Fielding's diverse community. So that's just one example of why, as an alumni, chose our program for that diverse community. Thank you all for participating in that community building exercise. I see there are a few other responses in there, and I'm so appreciative of your participation. Like I said, you're building community starting now. But students, there are numerous ways to continue building community through events and student groups. These are just a few listed on the screen here. We have virtual and in-person sessions that provide an opportunity to come together for workshops and seminars. We're excited about our upcoming in-person session being held in Washington, D.C. this July. We have special events like the annual Navajo Education Conference in Window Rock. The School of Leadership Studies Hub is a place for students to connect around all things research. It is a virtual setting where students can pursue connections and engagements that are untethered to particular courses or workshops. So that's just another opportunity to come together regardless of your courses. The Black Student Association is an interdisciplinary student-led group established to foster growth, inclusion, and awareness of the Black student community at Fielding. The Marie Fielder Center for Democracy promotes one of our founders, Marie Fielder's principles of transformational change for social justice, as it's exemplified through her life's work, her philosophy, and her contributions to equity, education, and justice. You all may be thinking that becoming an alumni seems so far away. However, at Fielding, you can join the Alumni Association from day one of becoming a student. Our Director of Alumni Relations will be sharing a little bit more about how it can support you with building community and staying connected in just a few slides. At this time, I am excited to introduce Dr. Wendy Williams, Fielding's Provost and Senior Vice President, to share more about the Fielding community from her perspective.
Thank you so much, Caroline, and welcome everyone this afternoon, evening, and morning. I know that we are all across the world, and it's really exciting to think about all of us joining together at this one place and this one time for one unified purpose and perspective. And I think that that would be the most appropriate way to think about this particular learning community. Each year at graduation at Fielding, we invite our students into the community of scholar practitioners. And I'm always so appreciative of this invitation because while our students can feel their membership in our learning community from the very first days of engagement, as Caroline said, even today we were building community with one another. The community of scholar practitioners, those affiliated with Fielding and those beyond our virtual walls, also become a part of their world. They will become a part of your world. And what does it mean to become a scholar practitioner? It means that one is a scholar, a thinker, and developer of new knowledge who aligns that knowledge and experience from professional practice to their research and allows their life research to inform their professional practice. It means that we value the personal aspects of an individual's character as much as their academic prowess because we know who you are as a scholar is as important as what you study. It means that we research and study with a focus on the application of research findings and insights to improve the lives of individuals, communities, institutions, and organizations. At Fielding, we believe in the transformational power of higher education, not only to shape the lives of each of our students, but also to make an impact in the world. This is why we have the tagline that we have right up here. And we believe wholeheartedly in your ability to change the world by first starting with yours. It's such a pleasure to be with all of you this afternoon. I'm hopeful that you get what you need in terms of learning about the full range of our programs and insights about some of the other aspects of student life, particularly as an academic and adult learner, I should say. It really and truly is a special experience here at Fielding, and we're very, very glad to have you here with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wendy Williams. To tell us more about the resources and support services, excuse me, getting ahead of ourselves here. So to tell us more about the resources and support services aimed at enhancing your overall student experience, I'm excited to introduce Associate Provost of Student Life and Thriving, Dr. Sherjanae Lindsay.
Hello, thank you. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Again, we're so excited that you're here at our open house. Again, I'm Dr. Sherjane Lindsay, and I want to share a little bit about what student life and thriving is, right? So what do we mean when we say that? So I like to think of the idea that student life and thriving means everything that happens outside of the classroom and impacts how you show up in the classroom. So we might support you around all of those things, be that access to resources for skill building, support services, or things in the learning environment. All of these things do impact your ability to thrive. My work here is to be a direct pipeline for you as student, faculty, and administration to make sure that we are intentionally supporting your student experience because we are committed to your education and your well-being, which I think you've kind of already heard already, right? And I will be an advocate throughout your experience in this. There are key focus areas that I like to call pillars that guide the work of student life and thriving. These pillars provide an overarching view of our work and our support to you. First, pillar number one, diversity, social justice, and identity. This means supporting you all as students and how your experiences and backgrounds really shape the lenses through which you see the world. All of these things are integral in the programs that are being developed and resources that are being provided by Student Life and Thriving. So this may look like programs and initiatives that consider how different identities are impacted by graduate work, or perhaps you might have identity specific initiatives. Pillar number two, well-being. How are you navigating your mental health, finding ways to center yourself and finding balance with all of the items that you might have on your plate? And how can we help you with that? Programming may include well-being activities where we come together as a community and practice stress relief tactics, as well as make sure you are aware of the student assistant program that provides counseling services, legal consultation, and other services to help you with your collective well-being. Pillar three, scholarship, connecting what you're learning inside of the classroom to the experiences and opportunities, again, outside of the classroom. This may be workshops, seminars, or conferences. And what this will also look like is collaborating on research events, highlighting your work, or providing educational programming to support your professional growth. Pillar four is support. This is connecting you with writing support, advising disability services, and other tools that might help you be successful. This may look like making sure that you're connecting to our wonderful writing coaches that will help you with APA guidelines, or connecting you with our advising office that will provide you advising support throughout your journey as a student. And they're really great people, so you should definitely check them out when you're here. And finally, pillar number five, community, connecting you to each other through student organizations and other resources, connecting you to faculty and connecting you to Fielding as a whole. We will aim to develop community through events, discussions, and dialogues, and just being a consistent face of support for you. So all of these things is what Student Life and Thriving is all about. And we want you to know that we at Fielding are committed to your sense of belonging and well-being, and we look forward to working with you on our journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lindsay. Now, I know we will have time for questions at the end, but I wanted to pause and give anybody an opportunity to ask anything that might have come to mind at this point, or any reflections that you want to share as well. And I'm just looking through the chat to see if there's anything there. You are welcome to type in the chat or just raise your hand. I can unmute you as well. But it looks like we still have people joining in. Someone from San Bernardino, wonderful. They're driving, be safe. That's fantastic. Multitasking as an adult learner, that's already starting. Okay, great. Well, if you don't have any questions at this time.
Looks like Floyd might have a question.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I can't see all the hands.
And yeah, Floyd first and then Sylvanus.
Okay. And Hillary, would you mind, are you able to?
Sure, sure. All
unmute
right,
them?
Floyd, I see you right here. What question can we answer for you? And thank you so much for coming today.
Hi, thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm just joining in, interested in the media program. I have a background in journalism, and I am just looking at higher education. My question is just for um, Sherjane. You mentioned the social justice, um, um, social justice that you're able to assist with or help with, but I guess I'm just wondering um, what sort of topics might you find looking at something like that?
Well, I think that there's so many topics that can come underneath social justice. So I think at the core, some of the key things that we always want to talk about are kind of why I said diversity, social justice, and identity, right? To me, social justice incorporates not just the act of being involved in activism or being involved in things that kind of connect us to the larger world outside, but also thinking about who we are as people, right? So thinking about our own identities and how we show up in the world, and that we're not just showing up as students when we come to Fielding, but we're bringing all of who we are and our life experiences together. So our social identities really impact how we're showing up as graduate students. And that kind of goes to some of the things of what I was talking about earlier with thinking about what does that mean for us? Because those things really shape our experiences and our understanding. And so we might need a little something different because of the experiences that we have. But I also think that social justice can also mean what are some of the things that are going on in the world and how are we supporting you and thinking about those things? Are we learning about certain research topics and how are we processing some of those things? And that's the act of social justice. I also think the act of social justice is just considering and thinking about things. So that's maybe a long answer, but the short answer is there's so many things that are part of social justice. And so if you come to Fielding or when you come to Fielding, you can provide us with some of the things that you're interested in talking about and that you want to discuss, because the beauty also about Student Life and Thriving is that we're new. This is a new office this year. And so I'm looking for students to show up and say, I want to discuss XYZ topic, and we can create programming around it. So we can have a discussion about anything around social justice. It's probably a longer answer than you wanted, but there you go.
Thank you so much, Floyd. We appreciate your question. And Sylvanus, I hope I'm saying that correctly. I have you next on the list.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Speaking all the way from Nigeria. I had to stay awake to be part of this. So Floyd actually asked the question I was interested in about what will social justice look like for Fielding, and Dr. Lindsay did a lot of answering with that regard. So I think that's okay for me for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much for staying up so late to be here. We really appreciate it. Very much so. Thank you for being here. And the next one I see here is Tanya's iPhone.
I'm so sorry. My name is Tanya Michaels, and I am the one who is currently driving from San Bernardino, California. I just left campus at Cal State University, San Bernardino. Thank you for having me. And my question would be to Dr. Lindsay. I wanted to know, what is her vision, especially considering this is a new department and a new experience? The fact that Fielding even saw the value in creating such a wonderful part of campus and community life, I think is very amazing. However, what does that look like specifically for her? Like, what is she bringing as far as her own personal vision to the position? If it's not too much to ask.
Never, not at all. Thank you for the questions. I appreciate it. So a little bit about my vision was starting out with those pillars that I kind of mentioned in my conversation. And those are some of those guiding principles that I think will to shape what will be some of the vision for Student Life and Thriving. And so that kind of gives us a place to start. But as far as my long range vision, I have been in the position for about 4 months. And I think it's really important that I make sure that I gather all the information before I share all of the vision, because I think it can be really dangerous to start making plans before you've got a full picture, right? So some of those pieces are, you know, diversity and social justice, thinking about support, thinking about research, and all of those pieces are all a part of some of the things that will shape what the vision is. But that's still being developed. And I think using students as a way to kind of hear what they're needing also is shaping that vision. And so it's going to be an ever developing thing. And so when you come to fielding, and I'm going to keep putting that out in the universe, I'm a big manifester, so I like to throw that out there. So when you come to fielding, you can be integral in having conversations with me as well. And I'm taking in everything that students share, and that helps shape what the vision will be. And so sometimes in the near future, I'll be sharing a larger vision, but thinking about those 5 pillars are kind of what's shaping the things that we're doing right now.
Thank you for listening, Dr. Lindsay. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you for the question.
Hillary, if I might, I think the 2 questions about the social justice thing, in the School of Leadership Studies, we did a survey of our students because we had a virtual session in February and in March, 2 days in February and 2 days in March, and students were divided. Some students wanted a lot on the dissertation. So in February, we really did a whole series of seminars on proposal development, you know, APA, like Chair Janae mentioned, how to write the dissertation chapter 5 and things like that. But then the students also said, we want to know what's happening in the world and have some robust discussions about that. And so in our 2-day March session, and I have the schedule in front of me, we had 2-hour sessions on things like migration around the world, how to look at the issue, what is happening in education across the world outside of the United States. We looked at issues about the global crises and racism. We looked at things about happening in Gaza and Israel. And so those were different types of robust discussions. And we did those 2 days and we called it Fielding in the World. So it's not only we're doing stuff for ourselves in terms of our dissertations and our work and our scholarship, but we're seeing what the broad impact is. So I really like those 2 questions that you had. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. And for those of you who haven't, we didn't get a chance to formally introduce Dr. Barbara Mink. She is the program director for our educational leadership program here and has many years of experience. And Barbara, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for my colleagues for support with the questions. It takes a community, right? Okay, wonderful. I was just looking through the chat to see if there were any other questions, but I don't see any for now. So we will proceed with the PowerPoint. Thank you so much for your questions and again for staying up late, depending on where you're located in the world. So I'm thrilled to have our Director of Alumni Relations tell you how you will be welcomed into our community of scholars by joining the Alumni Association from day 1 of becoming a student. So I will pass it to Hillary Lynn.
All right. Hi, everyone. My goodness, it's wonderful to see, especially in the chat, that people are checking in from all over the globe. This is fantastic. I am the proud, serve as the proud option to every day get to work with our alums. I absolutely adore our graduates, and I'm coming up on 12 years. My anniversary is in July, and the reason I've been here is because my passion is creating connection. And keeping our alumni engaged with the university is what I strive to do every day. Now, when we're talking about our strategy for inviting students to join the Alumni Association is simple. We have three main points I'd like to share with you. One is that we want you to get connected with alumni as soon as possible. Why wait? Let's get you started right away. The second is we want you to experience a seamless transition from student to graduate. So you'll already be familiar with the Fielding community. And we do call it a Fielding family. So let's welcome you in from day one. And then the third is, how can we support your continued journey after you graduate? And if we can go to the next slide. Okay, this is one of my favorite slides. We want you to join the over 7,000 alumni that are located across the globe. And my goodness, I see all sorts of places listed in the chat. And I know that perhaps you're a multitasker. And if you are looking at other things on your computer right now, please go ahead and open an extra tab because we're going to drop in the chat a link to the map, which is, you're seeing a spotlight right here, but we're going to link in the chat a map of Fielding alumni from all over the globe. So we really want you to engage in a deep and rich experience that supports your academic journey. And as Caroline shared before, I really enjoyed that story about the teacher in LA that wanted to have the opportunity to learn from teachers all over the globe. That really, you just shared that with me the other day, Caroline. I thought, wow, that is really impactful. And so we want you to get a better sense of where alums are located. So when you are a member of the Alumni Association, which is free, then you'll have the opportunity to get to connect right away. So we'll keep this quick here, but just a few things to share with you. When you do join, you have the opportunity to access the alumni directory. There's so many ways that you can find folks. Is with the interactive map that you may be looking at right now, but you can even search by specialty. Let's say you're interested in sustainability. If you go ahead and type in sustainability, all the alums that have self-identified in their interest, you'll be able to find them. Floyd, with you in media psychology, you'll find all sorts of graduates and folks that are interested in media psychology. So this is really the best place to connect with folks that have gone through the program. And you can also search by industry and then similar interests. And there is a little button that you can push to find out who's local around you. So this is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of what we can provide you in terms of access to the directory and the Alumni Association. So what I'd like to share with you now are some of the benefits that you can enjoy when you graduate. First, all graduates are automatic lifetime members of the Alumni Association. And one of the things that we're really proud of is our alumni library. So many of the databases that you're using as a student will still be available to you. We really want you to continue your academic journey and to stay connected. You get to keep your Fielding email for life. You also get a free pro Zoom account, which is really important in this day and age. And also the fun things, worldwide discounts for things as hotels and car rentals, etc. And we're also really proud to offer a job board and access to community boards. We're building our technology every day, and we are thrilled to have all of these available to you. And then last, I just share here is there's so many ways to stay engaged once you graduate. And as Caroline mentioned, we have an in-person session coming up in July in Washington, D.C. And as alums, we invite you back every year to attend. And it's really an essential and really important part to have that place in the calendar every year when you have the opportunity to meet back with your colleagues. But we still have an incredible presence, of course, online. And we have webinars, virtual events. Dr. Barbara Mink offers incredible offerings. And what she does for students, which we're so thankful for, is that all of our sessions are open to alums. So a lot of what you're learning as a student, you can come back and revisit that. Talk to students that are doing your research, share with that. So as a student, you'll get the chance to meet with alums that are doing research in real time. We have all sorts of other offerings. We have an Institute for Social Innovation, Sustainability Working Group, and so on and so forth. You can all read this on the slide here. But please know that we work very hard to keep you engaged. And I have to tell you, I'm an alum as well. Fielding got me after a couple of years, and so I'm a proud alum to also be here, and I'm very proud to serve in this capacity in alumni relations and support you as much as I possibly can. So I'm glad you're all here, and I'm available for any questions Towards the end, I have to leave pretty soon here, but Caroline, thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Hillary. I appreciate your time with us as well. If anyone does have any questions about the Alumni Association or for Hillary as an alum, please, you can ask your questions now.
I'll also go ahead and drop my email in the chat. So if anybody wants to get in contact with me, because I know there's a lot of pressure right now, I'll go ahead and put that in the chat, and feel free to contact me later when you would like, at your convenience.
Thank you, Hillary. Yes, I know sometimes questions come up after the presentations. We are going to be available, not only during this presentation, but after. So feel free to reach us. And I will have our contact info on the next slide as well. But if anyone has anything for Hillary before she has to leave, please feel free to ask away. In the meantime, I'm just looking through the chat. I appreciate your reflections as well. Lifetime email is so great. It is absolutely a Zoom Pro account, also superb. I agree. And thank you, Hillary, for putting your email in the chat. Let's see. And we have a question. Thank you, Felicity, for joining us from Alaska. She's interested in the clinical psychology post-baccalaureate certificate program. And she asked, do students who are learning at a distance have the same access to amenities offered on campus? We actually do not have a physical campus. We consider that the World Wide Web. So you all have access to the same amenities wherever you're located across the globe. I don't know if anybody wants to add to that, but that is my response in a nutshell.
Yeah, it is, there is a corporate office, I mean, in Santa Barbara and in Washington, DC, but we are a distributed, and have always been a distributed institution. So like we said, the seminars that we just offered in the School of Leadership Studies were 2 days in February, virtually, series of 2-hour seminars, 2 days in March, series of seminars. So it really is a diverse group of people around the globe.
Mm-hmm. And I'd like to add too that the regional groups are very strong, especially in clinical psychology. You will have a regional contact, and again with Dr. Meek, she works diligently to ensure that folks regionally have the opportunity to meet together. So while we don't have the physical campus, I'm located here in Santa Barbara at our office, but our campus is all over, really all over the world. And we enjoy the opportunity to be all over the world.
It looks like
Yep.
we
One
have
more
a
question. Somebody had her hand raised there, I think.
Yes. I see. There you go, Sylvanus.
All right. Thank you very much. Now, what has been your finding with the fact that you are having your learners, your students online, as against the traditional way of in-class, and also the possibility of a hybrid where you have both face-to-face meetings and then also online? Has there been any research you've done, any survey, feedbacks? What has it been like over the years? Thank you.
Well, I'll try to answer that. We've always been a distributed organization from the beginning. And so we've blended regional sessions with, distance learning. Now, all of our faculty, even though they're having these distributed courses, there are Zoom sessions built in on a regular basis. So you might be posting a paper, in a Moodle shell or something, but then 2 days later, you're going to have a Zoom session where you're talking about those ideas. So hopefully it's not distance learning. We're trying to make it relational learning. And, of course, you're like you said, you're in Nigeria, so we don't have a regional session yet in Nigeria, but we are having regional sessions around North America, and our faculty actually do travel internationally. We have some faculty that travel regularly to Asia and Europe, and Dr. Lanil Henderson and Dr. Kitty Epstein and our education program have done a lot of work in continent of Africa.
And I just wanted to add to that, historically, fielding since 1974, we've been designed as this distributed learning model, which that baffles me because that was before the internet. So if you're thinking about distance learning, it's like, how did they do it in 1974 without these opportunities to engage in the classroom virtually like we do today? So really, like Barbara said, it's distributed learning, but very relational, especially with the progression of technology, what we've been able to come up with.
The other thing that folks do is when they're going to conferences, they'll say, hey, I'm going to this particular conference. Is anybody else attending? And so there'll be kind of a fielding gathering at some international and national conferences. I know IECD, the Infant and Early Childhood Program, had a gathering internationally. And again, there's lots of conferences like that.
And I was just thinking, I'm going to jump in here, Caroline, is this Sunday is our virtual spring graduation. It's a live graduation. And if you really want to get to know the experience of graduates, this is the absolute best time to do it. And hopefully I'm not jumping ahead too much, Caroline and Brian, you might already have that in there. But I'll go ahead and drop this in the chat. I guarantee you, when you have the opportunity to hear the experience of graduates from all programs, this will provide you a window into the experience of our students. So, and it is an open invitation. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll go ahead and put the link in the chat. It's registration, but it's simply to make sure that you get the links and the reminders to partake. So I'll go ahead and put that in the chat.
That's a good example, Hillary, because each graduate is speaking about their experience. So you're hearing it firsthand, unedited, in terms of what they experienced from all the programs. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for including that link. It's a great opportunity to hear from them. So we can share all of our input about it, but it's great to hear directly from alum who've recently gone through the programs. Does anyone have any other questions about community, about fielding, distance learning?
I'm seeing a couple comments here with the interest in the post-bac clinical program, which is really fantastic. We're really proud of that program. And there are so many opportunities to participate. Yeah, Felicity, I see that we have you there. Yeah, I think I would, yeah, if we have any more questions, we'd love to take them. This is a great time.
Digital school, I love that. Right. How does a student know if virtual learning is for them? How does virtual learning differ from a traditional classroom experience?
Yeah, that is a really good question. Because one of the things that we do in our new student orientation is ask people to think about your preferred learning style. Some people are very independent learners and they like to go off and read and think by themselves. Other folks are like, no, I want to bat ideas back and forth. I'm a relational learner. I want more time to engage with people. So we have courses which you can be with other people in. And then we also have options in the programs for independent study, where you just work with one faculty member and design your own course with them on a contract basis. So you really have to sit back, I think, Floyd, and think about yourself as a learner and how you learn best. Is it group and relational? Is it independent? Or is it a combination of both? And then you can choose those options in your doctoral program. I want to do this through a course. No, I want to do this through an independent learning contract.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Floyd, you said media psychology, right? That's what you were interested in. Oh goodness, media psychology. That's a lot of fun. I'm telling you, we have some amazing, amazing graduates and faculty in the program. And in terms of virtual learning versus traditional classroom experience, I had that because, even though I am in work here in alumni relations, the virtual learning was incredibly immersive. Even it's amazing what you can still feel even when you're in a Zoom space, and it provides you the opportunity again to be around people that are all over the globe. And I didn't really understand the impact of that until I was in this program, and the variety of learning experiences and even the backgrounds of everyone is just absolutely incredible. And if there's one thing, you save time on driving. So there's a little bit of that you have a little bit more time in your life, that you're able to do that from your home. But what they're really good about is making sure that you're set up with someone on a consistent basis so that you're checking in with one another and not having, it's kind of like a buddy system, for lack of a better word. And that makes a big difference. And so the relational part of it, you still get that. And media psychology, they have conferences all over the place. I don't know where you're located, but are you in that? Well, you have to say now, but there's conferences all over the place in media psychology. So I have a feeling you're probably close to one of the main conferences, but yeah, media is a lot of fun.
Caroline, there's a couple of questions about the clinical psych program. That is very different than in the School of Leadership Studies. That leads towards being licensed as a psychologist in a particular state. And there are cohort meeting in that state because you have to undergo, state accreditation or licensure as a clinical psychologist. So maybe, Caroline, we need to get those folks over to somebody in our clinical program to answer those specific questions. I think there
Right.
are 2 of them.
Yeah. Thank you, Brian. My colleague just put in the chat a link to our events calendar. So if you do have specific questions about a particular program, we encourage you to register for a information session there. And those will be program specific, all the details about clinical psychology for those. And clinical psychology, it starts once a year as well, so in the fall.
Yeah. So they had one admission cycle, whereas in the School of Leadership Studies, we admit people in May, in September, and in January.
Yeah.
So there is a difference in the 2 schools.
And thank you, Hillary.
Bye, Hillary.
Hi, great to see you all and wish you all the best. Thank you.
And I'm just seeing if there were any other questions. But yes, Floyd, save on parking, absolutely. Like Hillary said, I used to get so many parking tickets, not tickets, but when you go past the meter for classes, then it got costly just as parking.
James said, what type of careers is this geared for? It depends on the program. Could you say more about that, James?
Right, it depends on which program you're interested in. This event, we're generally talking about fielding graduate university community overall, but if you have a specific program, it just depends.
Yeah, I can talk about, School of Leadership Studies and the education program and the Human Organization Development program.
But in terms of careers across all of those programs, we have educators, we have psychologists, we have consultants.
People who are starting their own consulting practice, people who are doing coaching practices, people who are head of nonprofit agencies, people who want to get into standard academia, be an assistant associate professor. We have people in our quote education program that are training and development people in corporations. So, and we're really proud to say we have a person who is just returned from Abu Dhabi. She was mentioned as one of the 50 women worldwide over 50 to watch. And she's in our education program, but she's not a public school educator. She works in the nonprofit sector. So it's an exciting group of people that come from all different walks of life. Yeah.
You know, what might be helpful, Brian, if you could grab a link to the Focus magazine. The end of the Focus magazine that we have it's twice a year that it comes out. We list the graduates, recent graduates at the end of that magazine from all the different programs. That really highlights a few of them, what they're doing. Looks like Brian put a few other links to our website as well. You can learn about psychology focus areas. And it looks like we are getting close to the end of the hour. I know it is very late for some of you, like Sylvanas, who joined us in the wee hours of the night. Thank you. So I just wanted to share too, in terms of next steps, just continue engaging with us to find out if fielding is the right fit for your next step in your educational journey. Like we mentioned, there are comprehensive overviews of programs if you attend an information session. So you can register for those at the link that Brian shared. There's still time to do so before the summer application deadline, which is April 1st. That is for most of our programs, but again, clinical psychology, that has a separate deadline because it starts once a year in fall. All of our other programs have intake for this coming summer. So keep an eye out for those information sessions. There's a few in the next few weeks if you want to learn more about a particular program before applying. At the end of this week, we'll also be sending invites to our final open house event. Our guest speaker for that will be Interim Dean of Student Affairs, Dr. Dorothy Agragupta. She's going to be sharing her perspectives and insights on academic excellence and student success. We'll also have program directors from the School of Leadership Studies, including Barbara Mink, and our other program directors from the School of Psychology there to answer any questions about careers, about the program, about student success, or really any last minute questions that you have before that application deadline. Those events are going to be the last week of March. So again, I'll be sending invites to those by the end of this week. You'll all be included on those invites, and it will be posted on the event calendar as well by Friday. And then reach out to our admissions team if you have specific questions as well about a program, application process, program requirements, or anything specific about your needs. And I'm just triple checking if we have any last minute questions. I don't see any. Like I said, it's just been so great to have you on this call at the end of the day. Appreciate you taking the time, investing in yourselves to explore Fielding Graduate University to learn about our community. And we hope to see you again at a future event. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the session. This was a lovely event.
Thank you for joining us. Have
Thank
a great
you.
evening. Good night, Sylvanas.
Thank you. It
Thank
was
you. Good
wonderful.
night.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye-bye.